3-16 to the Ravens on Sunday. After Dillon Gabriel left the game with a concussion, Shedeur Sanders stepped in and struggled. Sacked twice, completed only 4 passes for 47 yards with an INT. The Browns will play the Raiders this Sunday with Shedeur slated to start again. Gabriel is still in concussion protocol.
Shedeur's putting in great work, on the field, in the meeting room. He will be better with reps that he's getting, like any player would be better. But we trust him, and he's somebody that's continued to put in the work and will continue to do so.
All right, we've now had a few days to let this whole Sunday situation marinate. He's putting in the work. That is good to hear. But, Jeff, I'll go to you first. What do you make of the whole handling of Shedeur Sanders and the way he looked on Sunday?
Oh, I mean, it's malpractice to expect any different than what you saw out of Shedeur Sanders. Like, what? I don't understand what the expectations people had. This is an organization that had Flacco and Pickett at the beginning of the season. Then they drafted 2 rookies in the 3rd and 5th round, I believe, right? They bring these kids in. They get rid of Pickett, trade him. Then they trade Flacco 4 or 5 games in the season, go to Dillon Gabriel, and then, unfortunately, with the injury, now Shedeur gets thrown in. If you understood, let me just put this in perspective. The offensive line that he played behind, where Baltimore decided when he got in, we're going to blitz the house, did not know, had never heard his snap count. Never heard his snap count. Yo, that's how the play starts. So if you've never heard this, if you think tempo, timing, all the things that you have to get from a quarterback's perspective to even be effective would have been, to think that Shedeur Sanders will go out there and shine, you're lying to yourself. Like, this isn't a fair comparison to see this is what kind of quarterback this kid could potentially be. And I don't care who you are. Like, did he throw bad balls? Sure. Did Baltimore just bring the house? Did anybody protect? No. He was under duress. Did he make bad decisions? Sure. So did Patrick Mahomes when he was getting blitzed in by the Denver Broncos, and he's the best QB in our game. Like, give me a break if you think you had expectations that Shedeur would look any different than what he looked like in the other day. Now, he had time on two passes. He threw one down, I think it was a middle dig or
to Fannin?
Yeah.
That was a great ball.
Great ball. He threw another good ball. Like, so he had some things that I would go, hey, this is what we're going to build on. But if you think any quarterback, a rookie quarterback, is going to go in without protection and go make this thing happen, you're lying to yourself. Like, you hope in 3 practices, which he'll get, by the way, y'all, 120 plays tops. You'll get 40 plays a day tops. He's going to walk into this game. So you're hoping they shrink the offense down somewhat, give him some things that he knows what to deal with, get the offense better rhythm, figure this thing out. But, man, like, I think we do a disservice to our quarterbacks. The guy didn't even take these reps in training camp. So to think that he's going to get them in the season, you've lied to yourself. He had no practice, and I just hope people don't think this is an indictment on his play all the way around. He's a 5th-round pick that got a shot, and unfortunately they end up losing to the Ravens.
Yeah, co-sign on everything you said, Jeff. And let me just take it here for a second. I think this conversation has gotten well beyond just football.
Amen.
People are operating in these extremes. Either he was awful and doesn't belong in the NFL, or he's great and there's a conspiracy theory around the Cleveland Browns trying to undermine him actively. I don't think it's any of those things.
Agreed.
What I will say is this. It is malpractice that Kevin Stefanski did not give Shedeur Sanders any reps with the first-team offense as the backup quarterback.
Yeah.
They made Dillon Gabriel the starting quarterback in week 5.
Right.
We just wrapped up week 11, dog.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, baked into that was your bye week.
Right.
You mean to tell me at no point before the second half of the game against the Ravens did you have an opportunity to give Shedeur Sanders any reps with the first-team offense so those offensive linemen could hear his snap count, so the receivers in simulated game action can get comfortable with the rhythm, with the cadence, with the football that Shedeur is going to be throwing them?
Let me say this, though, just on that thought, just so people understand what this is, right? This is what happens when you have 2 rookies. Is Dillon Gabriel needs to get every rep. So they're panicked because he's playing. There's no, like, who is it? Zappi, I think is
Bailey Zappi.
But he's on the practice squad.
Right.
He's not even on active roster.
So you're asking a rookie, right? You're asking a rookie to run a rookie. Like neither of these. So to your point, the part of the malpractice is from an organization. You got two rookies backing each other up, and you can't get one reps. He ain't gonna know. He don't know any better. It's just the whole situation. To your point, set them up for failure. So I agree.
Jeff, when I was with Bill Parcells down in Dallas, you know what he did? Because he was going to have to rely on a lot of young players, a lot of rookies, a lot of second-year players, he extended the team periods at the end of practice.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a team period, instead of doing 20 plays, we might go 28 plays.
Right.
Because I want to develop these first and second year players that I'm going to have to rely on. There is nothing that precludes Kevin Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns organization from doing that.
Right.
To give Shedeur Sanders a handful of snaps in every single team period when you're going throughout the course of the week.
Right.
In order to make sure that he's ready, because everybody understands in the NFL, the backup quarterback is one hit away.
Which is why I somewhat disagree with you with what you're saying. When you say that people are engaging in conspiracies in terms of, you know what, they don't want him to succeed. Something's wrong. Kevin Stefanski is a two-time coach in the league. And in the interest of full disclosure, I root for him because a friend of mine is his daddy, Ed Stefanski, a longtime NBA executive who I've known for decades, who's a great man and has always been wonderful to me. That's his son. I don't root against Kevin Stefanski. I root for him because of his daddy. And I'm here to tell you something. Something ain't right. Something smells. Now, if it ain't him, it's somebody else. But from my understanding, you got an offensive coordinator and a head coach that ain't necessarily sold on Shedeur Sanders. You got a general manager who has more faith in him and wants him to succeed. We're not going to get into the one or whatever, because I'm not here to determine or legislate what's in people's hearts, okay? They might see something and they might not believe in it. From a football perspective, I got that part. What I'm saying is, where Kevin Stefanski loses me, you're a two-time coach of the year, 2020, 2023. We know you can coach. We know you know what you're doing. How does a quarterback go out there in a game like that and look that ill-prepared?
Yeah.
How does that happen? See, that's where I push back on you to some degree in terms of something's not right. Because we could say a lot of things about Kevin Stefanski. We can't say he don't have his teams prepared. We can't say that he doesn't. Like, if you don't have the talent, you don't have the talent.
Well, he doesn't have his team prepared because you don't have the backup quarterback prepared.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's my point.
1,000%.
That's my point. My point is, that's not an error he would make. He's too wise. He's too knowledgeable. Yeah. How could you put, you're going, listen, I know your point about two rookies.
Yeah.
I got that part. And you want Dillon Gabriel to get all the reps he can. I got that. But like you said, nothing is precluding you from extending. You understand what I'm saying? And whatever reps are necessary to make sure, because this is what, Dillon Gabriel is undersized. You're going up against the Baltimore Ravens. You know one hit could take him out. This football.
Yeah.
You can't, you know it's entirely possible and plausible that you can see that backup who you had as a rookie as your QB too.
Yeah.
And you give him no prep?
None.
None. Kevin Stefanski, two-time coach of the year?
Yeah.
With Schwartz, come on, man. That's hard to comprehend.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. That's all I'm saying.
What they've done this whole year has made no sense. I understand the Flacco move. I didn't understand the Pickett move. Like, you started this season out with a totally different viewpoint. Right. I have no idea.
And clearly it's a house divided.
Yeah.
Whether it's the owner and the GM and the coach and the offensive coordinator, it's a house divided.
No doubt.
Everybody is not on the same page when this kind of stuff happens.
Even the offensive line coach isn't like, hey, can we have him back here so we can just hear his cadence one time at some point, since he's our backup quarterback? They do have the Raiders this weekend. Kevin Stefanski has not officially announced that he will be the starter, and Shedeur Sanders. That is what
you said. Raiders?
The Raiders.
All right, they got a chance. 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 They got a chance.
You dirty.
Get right. Get right.
Speaking of the Raiders, the team that beat the Raiders yesterday,
they get right.
The Cowboys, they got the win they needed, obviously, against a team that is not very good on Monday Night Football. Dak Prescott threw 4 touchdowns, and he and the offense seemed to get back on track, but it was the defense that put up their best performance of the season, holding the Raiders to just 16 points.